It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Sonya Hamm. She's in the building. She'll be talking about money motions, the hidden enemies of wealth. What's going on, Dr. Sonya? How are you?
Hello, and thank you. I'm excited to be here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, and that name in and of itself is just amazing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I had an opportunity not to see you not too long ago, like a week or so ago in person.
Mhm.
So you're a real person. Some folks I never get a chance to meet, but I'm glad we got a chance to meet and be a part of something really special. Folks are looking and they're saying money motions, and just the elephant in the room. They've got to be asking what in the LL Cool J is the definition of money motions, right? And I don't know. So I might be the only one. If I am, then I'll raise my hand and say I went to DC public schools. I'm the only one. So take a moment, if you would, and talk about when you mention money motions, what does it mean? Why is that so important?
Right. So years ago, when I was dealing with my money emotions, that's how that term came about because I was doing the physical things with my money, but the numbers just wasn't adding up. I still had more month than money. And when I began to really like search what is going on here, I discovered that it was my emotional relationship with money that was determining my outcome. And so that's how money emotions kind of came about. And what that is, it is the mental and emotional roadblocks that we have around money and around wealth. And all of us have a relationship with money. Most people just don't know. We never think about being in a relationship with our money and how our emotions and our mental attitude about money drives our behavior and drives our decision making.
I love it. And, we have two type of folks that are watching. Let's talk to the folks, the person that's watching and saying, hey, I just want to make sure that my money is secure and that the money I have grows faster than I'm going, right? So I put my money to good use. And if they're watching right now, and I know it's a loaded question, but what would you share with that person? Maybe one or two ideas. And then we'll talk to the other person, the other individual. And I've been a part of that group, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. They're saying, whoa, I got more month than money. I'm struggling. I'm not sure what to do and I got to get started. So let's first start with the folks that are saying, hey, life's okay, but I need my money to go faster. I need more retirement. I want to make sure that I get into my golden years. I'm secure. What's one or two things you would say to that person that's watching right now?
Absolutely. And that's really where my specialty is because so many people don't know what to do with their money beyond earning it in whatever capacity, putting it in a bank account, or maybe putting it in a 401k. And what I found out in my own, journey is that there are vehicles, or I call them our money vehicles, and each of these vehicles can drive you to a different destination. So it's not just enough to have your money in a 401k or a TSP or a bank account or a money market account. Actually, you have to know what is your end goal. What is it that you're seeking to do? And what do you want that outcome to be? So for those that have cash reserves and it's just sitting in the bank, it's not earning anything. So it's definitely moving slower than you are. If you want some growth on your money, then it's important to sit down with a financial professional so that your goals can be ironed out because it's not a one size fits all. So it all depends on your goals, what it is that you want to set up for your family. And that's how we determine what vehicles best suit you. I particularly, practice safe money, but growth. And so we do income opportunities where you never run out of money. You'll get an income for the rest of your life. So it's, definitely advantageous to figure out what your goals are, what you want your money to do for you.
That was spot on. The reason I wanted to start there because I think there's three buckets that you're really addressing. I'm glad you're having this conversation. There's
Mhm.
folks who want, like you talk about, want to really have generational wealth, and you're speaking to them right now, and that is there's more money than you could probably spend, and you want to know what to do with it and how to
Yeah.
best do with it and get more. Then there's other folks who might have just reached what they call at this part independence. Like you said, you have a couple houses, got a couple things and some money coming in, but you want it faster. Thanks for talking to that group. And now we're going to talk to the other group. And most Americans are here, so you're not alone. This is not a beat me up session. So don't be like Shay Brown, go disappear, because I used to do that when they had those conversations. You just want security. And there was a time I was in that bucket. I was told myself, gosh, if I could just get 6 to 12 months in the bank, I'm rich. And I didn't realize that wasn't the case. But for 45 years of my life, that's all I thought I needed. So talk to the person that just wants financial security. They want to have 6 to 12 months in the bank. They're like, man, if I could just save, I can get the money and get ahead of some of this debt. I can take a vacation. What would you say to them listening? Are you able to help those folks in this money motion area as well? Or are they kind of left to the side till they get themselves together? And it can
No,
be very
actually,
stressful. I've been
that's
there.
the beginning right there. That is the beginning, is making a decision that you want to dominate your money versus money dominating you. And I believe that we've all been given power and authority, but you do need to have the right people on your team. Okay, so it starts with getting connected. And you said something so important. Is that we all started at a place where we just don't know what we don't know. I certainly started there. I thought you had to just go to work all your life and pay your bills and try to save whatever was left over. But that's not true. And so that's why I'm so committed to educating. So for those of you out there that are listening and you're just saying, if I can just, dominate my money, if I can just get it under control and be able to put something aside, the beginning is making that decision. And then we have a program that we actually work with our clients. And it's amazing that when we sit down and we actually help them determine what's coming in, what's going out, a lot of people, for the first time in their life, they see their money. So if you're out there, I would say the number one issue that most people have is you're handling your money, but you don't really see it. You're, bringing it in and sending it right back out, bringing it in, sending it back out. But you actually have to sit down and look at it so that you can now determine, okay, this is not working. Okay. We all been there. I've been there, got a few t-shirts. This is not working. How do I get control? And so we definitely say start with making that decision, take the shame off, take the fear off, right? Because you're going to have to deal with it sooner or later. And the longer that you avoid dealing with it, the worse it's going to become.
I love that. And before we get into the background, I know y'all want to know who is this person. Some of you already read her bio. Some of you are already Googling her. I get it. We'll get to who she is and her backstory. But I'd like for her to take a moment and talk a little bit about mindset around money. I hope she's okay with doing that, because when I heard her speak, one of the things that really attracted me to not only bringing her as a resource, but she wasn't the type of person that was beating you up. And there's 2 calls I hate to receive. I never want to call from my lawyer or bookkeeper, right? Because they always got questions about the money. And the other day she asked me, Shay, how much money are you wasting? I'm like, and I was just so embarrassed. You're making money. You feel like, don't worry, I'll just make more. And she's like, it's to make it grow faster. And so she shifted my mindset. And I'm embarrassed to tell you guys this, but hey, it is what it is. But yes, there's a lot of money. I didn't know I was paying $277 for my cable and stuff of that nature, and still paying for a phone. Can you imagine at my age? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And so my question is really around mindset. And what's the type of mindset that folks need to have as it relates to money? Again, it's a broad question, but I'd like to know your philosophy around mindset as it relates to money, and how someone can shift that. So they're thinking about, how can my money work for me, or how can I assign it places versus how do I just, not gonna use spend it, but really spend it.
Right. And that's a very good question, and one that we all need to sit down and say, what is my mindset about money? Most people have a earning mentality, earn, spend. And so you earn it, you work hard for it, and then you pay bills with it and try to live off of the rest. What you want to do, I would hope, is to expand that mindset to know that you have dominion over the money. And so, for those of you that are faith based, I actually started this in my church years ago. And the reason was because I was looking at people and I said, well, we're asking these people to give, but they're working one job. They have one income, and that income has to take care of their family, has to do so many things with just one income. So imagine that, right? However, when it comes to our mindset, if you just stay in the cycle of earn, spend, and never see yourself as the master of your money. And so, there's a favorite scripture of mine where God Himself says you can't serve God and money. And I think that scripture is misquoted, misunderstood more than anything. So the way that I like to say it is, God didn't say you couldn't have money, and He didn't say money could not serve you. So when we put money in its proper place, money is supposed to serve you. It is supposed to meet your needs, not you working for it. Right. So I think it begins there, just flipping that mindset to a mindset of dominion, a mindset of authority, that you get to choose where your money goes. You get to set the priorities, and we are the mind behind every decision that we're making with our money.
Well said. And folks now want to know, Shay, I didn't read the bio. I have no idea who's talking. I like what I'm hearing, but can you slow down for a moment and then we'll speed back up? Can she share a little about what's her backstory? You know this question, Dr. Sonya, but what's the backstory? But more importantly, what was that defining moment in your life? You said, you know what? I'm drawing a line in the sand. Not only will I be about my money business, but I also teach it.
Absolutely. Well, it was probably early 2000 to, well, 2000 when I started thinking about my money. But then in 2003, my husband, who was serving in the military at that time, received orders to go to Iraq. And we had three small children at home, and they were still in school. And so not only was the threat of him being in a foreign country, but going to war in that foreign country. And so my thought was, as a woman, what do I have? What do I own? And what is my capacity to be able to raise my children? God forbid if anything happens. And so there are 5 D's that I teach, and one is disability, divorce. So these are two key things that can happen to anybody that's listening, especially those that are married. But disability, if my children are only dependent on me and I become disabled, if God forbid my husband, doesn't come back home from this war, or if he comes back disabled, like, what is my capacity to take care of myself and my children? So that was my defining moment. It's like, you got to figure something else out, because your current good government job is not going to take care of the lifestyle that they have become accustomed to living to. So for me, it was that threat. And then as a woman in particular, so right here, I want to speak to the women looking at my personal capacity. And a lot of times, for especially those that get married, we're in a society that says your husband is supposed to take care of you, or your father is supposed to take care of you. But women have to wake up to their own economic power as well. So for me, that it was that moment that I decided, okay, you got to do something different.
I love it. Thanks for being so authentic. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? You seem to get excited. You seem to get pumped up. You seem to get fired up when you're talking about not only being able to have money, but what you can do for other folks, and how it would literally, and this is one of those conversations, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's two conversations you have in life. One is about money, and if you fix your money, it will literally change your entire life. And the other side is obviously on the health side. But what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
It's the education. It is the education, being able to help people to wake up to their dreams, to know that you can dream as big as you want to, right? But if you don't have the means or the capacity to reach that, then it's just a dream. So I love being able to educate people, especially on the resources that are available and how to use them to reach your goals, and to make sure that you have a legacy to pass to the next generation. And when I say legacy, not just the physical money, but the education, the wisdom that goes with managing and multiplying that money as well.
And you also tie the part that you can have another financial vehicle, a business operate like one that can help you also create it. So even if you're working a full-time job, which many of them are doing, and you're a
Mhm.
full-time entrepreneur, this could be a first step for you. And that leads me to the question before we get into today's my January 1st segment that I like to ask, because a number of folks who are watching Dr. Sonya, they're full-time entrepreneurs. They're are and full-time employees. So they're dualpreneurs. They have a
Mhm.
husband, they have a wife they take care of, they have kids. Some of them have other responsibility. Their kids have schedules. They say, I'm so busy. They're even involved in their
Mhm.
community, some of them in their faith community. It might be like, well, Dr. Sonny, with so much going on right now, how does one juggle all of this money part, and maybe getting on the business side and still do all the things I'm doing now? So here's the question. How do you prioritize? And I don't know if there's such thing as called work-life balance, but how do you prioritize or recommend people prioritize so they can do it without feeling guilty giving up one versus the other, which is family versus trying to get the business and money off the ground, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think, I'm a big goal person, right? Everything has to be driven by goals. What do you want the outcome to be? Because if it's money for the sake of money, then it's going to, you'll never be able to get ahead. But when you really know, what do you want your lifestyle? What is it that you're aiming for in your lifestyle? This is something I find a lot of times when I deal with my clients is they're really looking for more money. So I want you all to think about this. They're really looking for more money and bigger houses and cars because they feel less than. And as long as you feel less than, you'll always be chasing a carrot. So you have to realize you're already great, right? You already have enough. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't continue to strive to grow, but don't allow more things or the feeling of not being enough to be the motivation for the business or for working 2 or 3 jobs or whatever the case may be. So it's about getting centered and really setting goals and knowing what you want your outcome to be so that you can set priorities that are in alignment with what you truly value. I find that a lot of people are really working and they're chasing this invisible carrot, but it's not in alignment with what they really truly want. A lot of it, society has told us that we need XYZ in order to be important or to be powerful. So you have to look at, again, what is the driving motivation of why you're doing what you're doing. And I tell you, this brings a lot of freedom to people, because when you really sit down and think about it, at the end of the day, most people just want freedom. It's not money that we're after. You want what you believe that the money can do for you. So you got to define, what is it that I believe this money can do? Because 9 times out of 10, you already have it. You just don't know. So I hope that helps.
That helps a lot. That's spot on, by the way. It leads us to a segment we have here that's called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who know what we're about to do, you can go ahead and say those magical words. I know you wait every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get to say those words. Today is my January 1st. Doesn't that feel good? Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for all the folks who join us for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneurs family. Today is my January 1st represents our personal mantra. It means you get a fresh start. It means you get a do-over. It means the past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dr. Sonya on the other side is really two parts. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, what was a defining moment or a setback you had in your life? Maybe your life's been perfect, but there was a setback. And how did you bounce back from it?
Right. So today is my January 1st. Wow, that's just powerful in and of itself. And what I hear in that is, I get a new beginning. I get a fresh start, because usually when we think about January the 1st, that's what it signifies, a new beginning, a fresh start. And for me, if today, well, it's going to be my January the 1st today. Um it would mean that my past mistakes could no longer hold me, and I think that's powerful in and of itself. It would mean that I get to make new decisions so I could leverage the mistakes and take the wisdom to start this new chapter in my life. And so I think that's great. One of the biggest setbacks that I've had that I would, want to correct is I wish I knew more about business when I first called myself starting in business. However, I don't have any regrets because it was that experience that brought me to where I am today. And I don't know if you asked this question, but I'll go ahead and say, if it was my January the 1st, what would I do differently? I would value relationships, and not just any relationship. I would be more intentional about relationships, because tied in that is wisdom and aligning yourself with the right people so that you can get where you want to go in record time versus trying to figure it out by yourself. I spent many years as a first generation entrepreneur, first generation wealth builder in my family. I spent many years going around a mountain because I was trying to do it by myself because of something called fear, not trusting people. So you got to find your tribe or find your mentor, find your coach. That's my tidbit.
Mm. I love it. And it leads right into what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given. So I love it. That's spot on. It's just sitting there on the other side right now. Money is what you do. Collaborations is super important to you. Can you take a moment and talk about what's your philosophy around having mentors that help you along this journey? I know you have so many mentors right along this journey,
Mm.
but when you're looking for someone to be a mentor, that's one side, and there might be one or two characteristics you look for. We're always looking for that. And then on the other side of the coin, when you're looking for someone that says, hey, I like what Dr. Sonya is doing, I'm looking to be a mentee of hers, what's one or two characteristics you look for? So it's a two-part question. When you're looking to be mentored, what's one or two things you look for in someone that can help you on the journey to get better? And then on the other side, because you're a big giver, and I've seen you give back and give advice, when someone wants to be a mentee of yours, what do you look for in the type of characteristics?
Absolutely. So first of all, I say what we should look for in our mentors is their success record, and when I say success record, it means that they've accomplished something that you want to accomplish. One of the big mistakes that I believe we make with mentorship is, let's just say I'm starting today in my financial life. Well, my mentor doesn't necessarily need to be a millionaire. And I know that we hear that a lot, but millionaire could be way out of range of your belief system for where you are. So maybe you need a mentor that just can help you get started with budgeting, or you need a mentor that can help you set goals, or can help you, define what it is that you want to accomplish in your career or whatever. So a lot of times you don't have to shoot for the person that's way at the top. You need to get someone that's maybe 10 steps ahead of you, 20 steps ahead of you, right? That can still relate to you and that you can relate to. And I don't think I can say that enough. So I'm gonna close it with this. Make sure your mentor is relatable, and that their success is not so far. So let's take an example. If I wanted to learn the investing game, we know Warren Buffett, is like the father of investing, right? However, his experience and his level for where I'm starting as a beginner in that area, it's too wide of a gap. So I need to start with somebody I can touch, somebody I can pick up the phone and call. I can ask questions. So I hope that makes sense. And then on the flip side, if you're, what I look for in a mentee is that you're ready to be coachable, that you're ready to do the work. And what I find a lot of times, we want the outcome, but we don't want to do the work. And friends, I wish there was a shortcut, but it's not. You have to be ready to do the work. And part of doing the work is becoming transparent, finding that person. Your mentor should be somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can confide in, somebody that you can, bear all and be okay. So it's that person that you say, hey, look, this is where I am, and that doesn't judge you. And that's one of the things I offer all of my clients. This is a no judgment zone. Why? Because I've made all the mistakes myself. So I already understand how you feel, where you're coming from. And what we want to do is get you on the road to where you really want to be.
Ah, well said. What do you do for fun? We're not out saving the world, helping people become financially free, creating legacy revenue these days. What does fun look like for Dr. Sonya?
Actually, you wouldn't believe, but I am an introvert by nature. I love to read. Give me a good rainy day, a good book, and I am on the couch. Outside of that, my family. I love my grandchildren. I have my grandsons are here now, and so give me my grandkids, and then when they get a little bit busy or energetic, then just give me a good book, and I am okay.
Now you can't leave us hanging. Everybody wants to know, wow, what's one of her favorite books to read other than the Bible? We'll put that in a separate. I know it's a common question, but they're like, she loves to
Yeah.
read. Shay, what's one book that's one of her favorite that she likes?
I would say my favorite book of all times. I know most people say Think and Grow Rich, and although that is a great book, but one of my favorite books that really changed my life was Who Moved My Cheese, and I don't even know if that's a classic or not, but that was one that was very pivotal in helping me to develop a new mindset and know who I was. And then one of the other ones I would have to say would be The Millionaire Next Door. And in that book, I got to study, common millionaires, because when you're, seeking to achieve wealth, you want to know, well, how do millionaires live? What do they think? And at that time, which was years ago, I didn't know any millionaires. And so when I saw that book, I was like, oh, okay, well, what does the millionaire next door look like? So though, and usually if I'm reading, it's something business, it's something about finance, it's something about tax strategies, those type of things, or marketing. I read a lot on marketing.
Ah, I love it. Well, let me first say two things. Number one, thank you so much for being on a Happy Entrepreneur Show. We have a two-part question. One is to come down the home stretch. What type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any, if your firm's taking on any clients? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Absolutely. And let me say again, thank you. The clients that I'm looking for, if you are working, whether you work for the government, maybe you're in the military, maybe you're working in corporate America, and you have a 401k or a TSP account, or you're relying on a Roth IRA, we need to talk, because you need to understand what's going to happen. A lot of people don't know that they have tax bombs in their retirement plan. So one of my key things is helping entrepreneurs set up retirement, income. I don't like the word retirement, but that's what we use. But helping entrepreneurs to set up a plan to protect their income in the future, and then helping those that are in the working class to understand, yeah, 401k, it's better to have something than nothing, but you could potentially have a big tax bomb in your retirement plan that you're not going to know until you get there. And so I want to help you to be able to identify what you have, help you set the financial goals that you want, and then show you what vehicles are available to protect you, not only your income, but to keep it protected from losses. And you can reach me on all social media handles at Sonya, and that's Sonya, it's with a Y, Sonya Hamm, and that's Hamm, two M's, on all social media handles. And then you can set up an appointment at hamfinancialgroup.com. Again, that's Ham with two M's, financialgroup.com. You can just go there and schedule a free consultation. That's the other good thing, Shay, to work with me to start out. There is no cost. We just want to educate you and empower you to make the right decision.
Oh, I love it. So With that being said, let me once again say thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And you give us the most
No.
precious resource you have, which is your time. So thanks so much. We appreciate it.
And thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you, the viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So we appreciate every time you show up. It's always cool when you hit the like button, but more importantly, we really get enthusiastic when you hit the share button. Like you pay this message to your community so they too not only can become financially free, but create generational wealth because it is possible. With that being said, I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that no matter where you are in your life, no matter what's going on, that you're awesome, you're incredible, you're amazing, you're a super kind human being doing some wonderful things, that today is your January 1st. Because of just that one reason, I'm still holding the belief that your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name ain't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. We out of here. Thanks, Dr. Sonya. Peace,
Thank
everybody.
you.